match. Her beauty, her contemplation, her ability with details, specific details, which I love. You can imagine how much I love her for that. How calm she is and how centered that she has remained throughout the madness of all of this. Let's hear it for Jess Hagel. And next, I would like to bring Elise Robert. Elise Robert, who has done French translations throughout the festival. She speaks 3 languages. She has been here to help us with the book table, and she too is a detail freak. She's here from Montreal visiting us, and she will be coming to Banff as part of the Banff Circle as well. Let's hear it for Elise Robert. Tanya Evanson. I didn't tell people they were doing this, and we did party late last night. Tanya Evanson comes to us from Vancouver. She was also in the festival as an artist. She performed last night. She is a goddess, of course, and she is also a whirling dervish, the real thing. She is a teacher. She speaks many languages, and she was also on the book table and being very specific with details. Let's hear it for Tanya Evanson. Taryn Craig. Taryn Craig has been with the festival for, well, about 7 months. And she is my top banana, my right-hand woman. She's a beautiful goddess. She's detailed. She's wonderful to be around. She has a specific and wonderful direction and spirit. She's calm, which is very important in the festival world. And I love working with her. Let's hear it for everything that Taryn Craig has done. Thank you, guys. Thank all of you. I would also like to thank all of the, oh, there's more people. Mike Roberts. Mike Roberts, who's sitting behind the camera. Mike Roberts has also done all of the web. He's doing the web for the festival. He's also doing the web for the Spoken Word Workbook. This festival, we have been launching the Spoken Word Workbook, and it's a collection of 27 authors from all over North America who have given lessons and directives, tips to those people who are interested in writing, telling their story, poetry, spoken word, and performance. And it's for sale there, and Mike is making the interactive website, which will be linked to this. So you can go there, and while the artists have been here, we've filmed them doing pop-ups. So you'll be able to go to the website and get the author actually speaking directly to you. So let's hear it from Mike Roberts. Rod Coates is back there. Wave, Rod, stand up. So all the, yeah, there you go. He's doing all the live streaming, and he's done an amazing job. So let's hear for Rod Coates. And Will Knoll. Will Knoll has been doing the blog throughout the festival. He's also, the electronic tweet master of, what do you call it, social convenience? Social bad attitude. Social networking, of course. And he tells me that he loves this festival because it's about giving voice. So let us hear some amazing voices, some amazing, remarkable women. Have a great time.
Okay, we have a special guest reader today. We have 7 poets with us. Well, many more, I'm sure, but 7 who will be on stage. One is our first special guest reader, Anushka Naji. And Anushka has a special place in my heart. She is a phenomenal human being, woman, activist, artist. She and I worked together on the Vagina Monologues. I told her the other night that I believe that she is hotter than the lawyer on The Good Wife. And you'll get it when she comes up on stage, because Anushka's studying law. She's just about finished. And between her academic career and her artistic endeavors, she's traveled all over Canada, wowing audiences with her presence. So please welcome Anushka Naji to the stage.
Is it okay if I use this mic? It has a podium. Yes. Okay, good. So it's really wonderful to be here. It's very early in the morning and I haven't slept. So if the poem goes on for a little while, feel free to wave hands and be like, Anushka, it's been more than 3 minutes, because I've got 3 minutes up here and I'm a special guest reader and I feel very special and very excited to be here. So I'm going to read to you, thank you. I'm going to read to you one little piece. It's a love poem, and it's dedicated to all the lovely people who are also up with me at 11 a.m. Probably not feeling as bad as I am, but no problems, no problems. It's called In the Museum of Your Memory. In the museum of your memory, the pictures of you are black and white, grainy and overexposed, too much light, and I, after visiting hours, step softly past the closed on Sunday signs to find your eyes wrapped in picture album plastic, just as black as they always were. Your hair fading into the too white background, just as black as it always was. And love, I will grow more delicious in the cold if you will grow hungrier in the distance. The space between my fingers is enough for you to weave your blue hands into mine after you take down your winter blankets and add another hour to the time between you and I. In the museum of your memory, your body is framed in your father's doorway. The marks of your lips on old mugs are preserved in plexiglass cases. Your old sheets are hung like oriental rugs, and I, after visiting hours, ignore the do not touch signs to find your lips gathering the dust of strangers, just as dark as they always were. Your handprints fading into the 2 black walls, just as heavy as they always were. And love, I, on the forgive me, Father, for I have sinned side of the box, will sing your Hail Marys for you if you will believe me full of grace and take my name between your lips and my hands to your face. In the museum of your memory, all the things I left unfinished and unsaid are painted on the walls in bold black and red, and I ignore the finger on mouth signs to read out loud and in time. I didn't close my eyes when your lips met mine, because when you kissed me, you were the most perfect disaster I'd ever seen. And love, I still build the arch of your eyebrow and the curve of your jaw on the side of every road I visit. And love, there's $500 left and some love left from when you might need it. And love, I've closed the doors and taken down the blankets, eaten the dust and undone the cobwebs. And love, one day the ticket stub love letters and the bus map love notes will form the narrative under the glass case that holds your bones. And I, after visiting hours, will ignore the condemned building signs to find my lips gathering the dust of strangers, my hands lined and incomplete, my words fading and foolish, and finally a place to sleep. Thank you.
So, how was that for a warm-up? Our lineup for today goes like this. Elise Malton, Yeah, that's right. Miss Dina Smith and Heather Haley. That's right. Before we have an intermission. Then after intermission, we'll be hearing from the divine Jen Conleary, the glorious Mary Pinkowski, and the sexy all the way here from Barcelona, Monica Caldiero. I got one of these, close but not quite. Wow, I'm looking forward to welcoming all of you on stage. Let's just take a moment to thank the Auburn. So thank you very much to Jesse and his team for bringing everyone here for the entire festival. To Dave Lyons at ABM Audio for his sound and lights. There's artist merchandise in the back on the table. I would urge all of you to check it out. There's some great, great stuff back there. And there's also a mailing list and volunteer sign-up sheet for the Calgary International Spoken Word Festival. So without further ado, Elise Malton, Torontonian, National Director for Spoken Word Canada, member of the outspoken duo, the Queens of Inappropriate, speaks about bodies, love, and sex openly. She is passionately political, tantrically philosophical. She's got hair most people would kill for, a voice that everyone stops to listen to, and more things to say than a monk coming off a vow of silence. Please welcome to the stage Elise Malton.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Have any of you ever been single in the springtime? Yeah, it's kind of rough, huh? That's what this one's about. It's spring, and the air, heavy with the scent of lust and lilacs, alights on the scantily clad shoulders of the passers-by who have shed the heavy habits of winter. They are climbing out of hibernation with the bright and eager eyes of the freshly fevered and pairing off like partners at a cotillion. And I, the unlikely wallflower, am still single. Which wouldn't be a problem if I were cool with casual sex, or if I had consciously committed to forgo coupling in order to fulfill myself in other ways, or if I hadn't wholeheartedly swallowed the Hollywood fairy tale we've all been force-fed since infanthood. You know, the heteronormative white picket fantasy that against your better judgment has you counting back from, well, if I want to have 2.3 kids by this age, and I want to be married for a few years first, and I want to be engaged for at least a year before we get married, and I want to be together for at least a year before we get engaged, then I need to meet my knight in shining armor by, well, yesterday. Intellectually, I know this prefab story is bullshit. Well, not the getting married and having babies part exactly, but the notion that this narrative is the universal key to happiness. Like all I have to do is follow the meet him, love him, get a ring from him, marry him, have his baby's instructions printed on the side of that glittery box, and I'll live deliriously, happily ever after. Like I'm checking major life points off on my to-do list on my way to becoming a whole person who can ride off into the monogamous lifelong sunset in a white satin dress and heels. Yeah, I know this story is bullshit, or at least not the only way to go. And yet, this knowledge doesn't preclude the impulse to find someone to wake up to under warm, rumpled sheets. To play Scrabble with in our pajamas on Sundays and take bike rides that end in vegan picnics on Saturdays. Someone who respects and admires my feminist politics and maybe, just maybe, has some of his own. Someone whose mind I can revel in, whose soul I can lose myself in. Someone whose body I can explore like I'm on a treasure hunt without a map. Someone for whom I would willingly, eagerly rip open my chest, pluck out my heart, and say, hey, want to share? And so, abiding this impulse, I unglue myself from the rigidly written plot lines, remembering that love and fairy tales are not part and parcel, and set off in search of my own way. Breathing in each moment as it comes, I send small prayers of thanks each day for the fullness that is my life. Rise with a grin of gratitude to greet the sun and know that that love is on its way. Thank you. I have seen the ways you have waged war with your body. This battlefield of mirrors strewn with weapons turned on yourself in shame and longing and your wounds that fester in forgetfulness. I have seen your regimens of counted calories consumed and burned, seen the crisscross scars across your slender wrists and emaciated cheeks under stark hospital fluorescence. I've seen your endless mill of workouts headed nowhere fast, more strong, less weak, more hard, less soft, more fast, less slow, more less, until you are cowering in fear of your self-made army, your constant condemnations building layers in the armor around your heart that leave you hard and hungry. Listen. Pause in your mutterings, your war plans and strategies. Softly bend your ear this way and I will share with you a secret. I, too, have made my uneasy home on this front, have crumbled before mirrors in pools of sorrow after breaking myself down piece by hated piece. These thighs, these hips, these handles made for anything but love. You are not alone. I, too, have steeled myself against the ache in my chest where theoretically my heart should be. Known the pain of being blind to this gift. You are not the only one who has anesthetized your instincts and gotten lost, undone by your belief in your unworthiness. But this body is not a defective lump of clay to be molded to perfection by sheer will and discarded upon death like so much waste. This body is not sin, not torture, is nothing but salvation, the whole universe in contracted form. Listen, please, uncurl yourself from your clenched fist. Dig out the white flag of compassion buried somewhere deep inside your ribcage. Wave it high. Hang it round your neck like an amulet if you must. Just lay down your weapons. Sign the treaty. If you were meant to be anything other than what you are right now, you would be. So step off that battlefield and into the temple. I know you are not accustomed to seeing yourself this way, so start small. Begin with an offering of peace like the tiny key to your colossal armor. Shed first the layers around your hands and feet. Rejoice in holy fingers, toes, tapping the first tentative notes. Next, uncase your arms and legs, savor strong and graceful bones vibrating to the tune of freedom. Your head, so busy with its machinations, breathes deep its pores upon release. And last, unmask your heart, pulsing, sacred beat until your whole miracle body sings this vital hymn of peace, surrendering to the freely given gift of grace. I promise you we will forget. The war is cunning and will draw us back into its blindness. Your pinky toe will not always seem the holy thing it is today. This armistice takes practice. These wounds will take long work to heal, but all is not lost when you wander. Though you may forget the tune, the way, your heart remembers always. Your body is an instrument. Listen, you are already whole. You are already home. So we're going to change gears a little bit here. As Sean said, I did a tour this past summer with a good friend of mine, Kira Harris, as the Queens of Inappropriate. And it began, we were sitting in the park one day, and we were talking about how she really hates, I hope you're ready for it, she really hates giving blowjobs. And I was like, maybe it's because you just don't know how. And she was really insulted by that. And so we decided that I would give her lessons in exchange for her teaching me how to leave without having to reciprocate, which is what she does all the time. So out of that was born the Queens of Inappropriate, because we decided we're just so ridiculous together that we should just talk about sex on stage in our underwear, which is what we did. And I decided that the show should really include a song, and somehow that song became a jig, and then it became a jig about oral sex. And I was really hoping that I would be able to manifest myself an acoustic guitar or an acoustic guitar player this morning, along with a scrumptious man for Sherry D, who was going to play the guitar. She said that I could have the guitar if she could have the man. It was really great. Sorry, I could have the guitar if she could have the man. That was the way I meant to say that. So I didn't manage to do that. However, we're just going to do this a cappella styles, and you all are going to clap. And it's also kind of a sing-along, so I'll be doing the chorus like 3 times, so feel free to join me when we get to the second or third time. Cool? Are you ready for it? 11 o'clock in the morning is maybe a little early for a jig about oral sex, but I don't care. Woo! It's time! Let's do it! I'm not going to take my pants off for you, though. All right. Get your clapping hands ready. I'll tell you when we get to go, okay? I learned how to do it on a bottle of beer. I get better and better year after year. Ask many fine folks, and you're likely to hear. Fellatio's really fun. There are long ones and short ones and growers too. There are fat ones and thin ones that hang askew. But no matter the figure, I'm telling you, most everyone likes head. There are upstrokes and downstrokes and round we go. There's the teasing and pleasing and going slow. There are tip licks and deep throats and everyone knows. Don't forget the balls. Blowing's not everyone's cup of tea, but I don't understand why they don't see. Spit it or swallow if you're asking me. Sucking cock is swell. Giving is better than getting to some. But let's be real honest, receiving is fun. And everyone wins when we all get to come. So down we go. If you want to know how to make most women moan, the most surefire way that has ever been known is to put your tongue's focus on her pleasure zone. Because cunnilingus rocks. You can kneel at the altar or bow at the source. You can kneel at the altar or bow at the source. She can sit on your face like she's riding a horse. 69ing is also an option, of course, but don't forget to breathe. There are upstrokes and downstrokes and round we go. There's the teasing and pleasing and going slow. There are clit licks and tongue fucks and everyone knows. Fingers are also fun. There are Cheerios, Wheaties, and butter on toast. There are greasy spoon specials and fine coffee roast. But the breakfast of champions we support most is a nice and juicy cunt. Giving is better than getting to some, but let's be real honest, receiving is fun, and everyone wins when we all get to come, so down we go. So talk to your partners and ask what they like, be they straight women, gay men, transgendered, or dykes. No 2 sets of privates are ever alike, but most everyone likes head. Giving is better than getting to some, but let's be real honest, receiving is fun, and everyone wins when we all get to come. So down we go. Thank you. All right, I guess y'all are too shy to be singing about that this time of morning. It's okay. I do have 3 Queens of Inappropriate CDs at the back table, so if you want to learn how to sing along. We also, for those of you who know Brendan McLeod, rewrote his song, All This Trouble in the World, to be about all the women in the world coming. It's a really great remake. He was really excited about it when we shared it with him. All right. We're going to switch back to a little more serious mode now. I know. It was the summer of my requisite post-graduation identity searching trip to Europe. And in my last days in Paris, as all cliched soul searchers should, I walked the left bank with a friend discussing the meaning of life. The greater part of the conversation I've forgotten, but in the years since, one phrase has remained clear. As we hit upon the topic of despair, she said, depression is just a lack of gratitude. Having more than once defied the clutches of that particular black hole, I balked, ego-smarting at her assessment and vehemently countered her point. After mulling it over for years, though, I think I've finally come to understand. See, she wasn't trying to blame anyone for their darkness. Like me, she had fought those demons, tried medicating her way to a livable balance between numbness and heart-splitting agony. No, what she was really trying to say was that depression, far from a petty lack of thanks, is really about forgetting. Forgetting how to find the magic in the mundane moments. How to look the mirror in the face and smile. How to remember that the light switch was right there all along. I've had days when thunderstorms threatened to drown me in their downpour. Mornings when the sun never seemed to want to rise out of bed. Whole months when the forecast seemed permanently set on gloom. I've run miles in flight of fear and self-loathing, found solace in the arms and beds of friends, and buried myself in busy work. Far be it from me to prescribe a one-size-fits-all cure, but on those days when I find myself wallowing in the mire of my own misfortune, I found that the best cure for blues by heartache is to sit. And invite it in with, well, maybe not open arms, but arms at least not crossed like armor in defense. To converse with that heartache a little while. Explore its many faces, then grateful for its lessons, see it to the door when it is time to let go. And when I open that door to see the sun peeking out from behind the gray, I think of Hafiz, that love hymn to God slinging Sufi poet who speaks to me in tongues so sweet, I swear some days I might overdose on the bliss of being alive. Okay, maybe Hafiz isn't your thing. Maybe it's a Rocky Mountain sunrise, a major chord, a toddler's grin. It doesn't matter as long as it's true. Because there's nothing to break the gray like the pure, poetic reminder of our connection to everything. Friends, joy is our birthright. Not there to be earned or deserved. It is ours just by virtue of being here. So when I can see in your guarded eyes that you don't believe me, I will hold a mirror up to your face with a message written on it in bright red lipstick saying, you are loved, you are seen, you are wanted, you are needed until you understand that the universe knew what it was doing when it made you. And when I see that spark of remembrance light your spirit, I will speak to you like Hafiz speaks to me. Saying, walk tall, child, with the divine inalienable grace bestowed upon you in every moment. Walk tall, child, each step on the beauty path bringing you closer to God. Walk tall, child. Be the love you seek, and you will find it in every breath. Thank you.
Hello. I think the universe knew what it was doing when it made you, Elise. That was amazing. Our next poet is a member of the Throw Poetry Collective. She is Montreal's 2010 Grand Slam champion. Will be representing Montreal at the Vancouver International Poetry Festival in the individual slam competition. She's grounded in gratitude. A member of the Calamity Vibes Collective. She's worked with talented musicians, MCs, vocalists. She's grateful for where her words have taken her. And she looks forward to the rest of her journey. I am looking forward to the small part of her journey we get to share with her here. Please welcome to the stage, Miss Dina Smith.
I'm going to try that again. Good morning. That's better. Thank you for this gift. Thank you for the gift. I know I have no song to sing, no keys to stroke, but I woke in the dark to a symphony of sentences, playing allegro, rushing me out of bed, pushing me precipitously to blank page again. Thank you for refilling me so consistently with this ink that is life. These sentences molten hot, erupted, piercing sharp, cut through my dream state because the ever I am had something to say. This symphony that plays piano, piano during the day, crescendos nightly between here and gone, life and death, ephemeral, like morning dew, early mist, only known to those who are willing to wake for it. I am grateful to have been given an ear to eavesdrop on creation while I am still in this world. Thank you for word-heavy, phrase-bound nights. And the cost? Heavy lashes for a satisfied soul is a bargain. Fill pages with me. Fill volumes with me. Set me down. Think of one who needs a word. Pick me up and begin again. I am yours. Thank you. So as an unabashed shout out to my hometown, to the Throw Poetry Collective, to Community Vibes Collective, to the Black Theater Workshop, and Nomadic Massive, whom I love, and who are all rooting for me while I'm here, this is Birthplace. Montreal, island of my birth. What are you really worth if we've only exchanged one form of poverty for another? We walk down the street, but we barely talk to each other. La province est belle, but what the hell do you do in a place where your own barely acknowledge your face? Opportunities new and old fall, frozen, cold, get salted and plowed under, and God's together plan gets torn asunder while the people who came first close their eyes and fantasize about going home to a Caribbean that they won't recognize. Because PriceSmart is on the scene selling microwave cuckoo. Well, I don't know how to make it, do you? And it's not because they didn't want me to know. Call it a seed they didn't sow. Just another one of those things that got lost in translation to the next generation in this new nation. But I am nonetheless West Indian. Once removed, of course. Never married to the island, but never divorced. I was born with one foot in this camp, but the other is damp with seawater. I am an island daughter, given up for adoption to give me a new option, but as much as I understand it, sometimes I just don't fit dans les Antilles de mes parents or on La Rue Saint-Laurent. So in order to get from where they were to where we are, to be that dream come true to their wished-on star, I had no choice but to do what I did and become some sort of curry chicken poutine hybrid. So when you see me, you'll get bonjour and what's up and maybe sac passé. And as long as you respond to at least one of these things, I think we'll be okay. But we need to start today. There is no DJ to stop our record and say, come again. But then, we've already overcome so much just by being here. Overcome the fear of who was left there and who was brought here. Overcome so much societal gloom and doom. Why can't we just make some room for each other? My sister, my brother. En anglais ou en français, entier ou non, pourquoi pas accepter et apprécier un peu plus le tout et faire de l'île où je viens un peu plus chez nous. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to thank the delightful and glorious Sherry D for inviting me to be here. It is a pleasure to be among so many of the writers that I love so much and so many people I've never seen that have just moved me and inspired me. I write a lot about heritage and history and normalization of things that are not quite normal. So it's been a weird couple of hours for me because I flew in from Montreal yesterday and I'm exhausted. And while I was preparing what I was going to share with you, it wasn't in a detached presentation mode. It seemed very close. So if I suddenly burst into tears, I apologize. But if you want to join me, go ahead. He said, I will not let you leave me. And it was more than the look in his eye that said, believe me. He said, if I can't have you, no one else will. And it was more than his hands around her throat that could kill. But it wasn't the first time her day had started or ended like this. She had long since ceased to exist, at least as the girl she had been when they met, and yet she remembered how sweetly this whole thing started. It started with chocolate and flowers and conversations for hours, and she fell. It started with a smile and a wink. And until today, people watching would still think that things were good between them. She had learned to put on a good show. She looked like a girl in love, adored and protected, which is why no one ever expected what was really going on. Her soul and everything she ever knew to be good and true about life was falling to pieces. He said, "If you love me, you will do what I told you to do." And most of the time, the most broken part of her would say that was true, but this time, something made her ask why. This time she thought, what if I try to get away? What can I lose but what's cost me everything anyway? What have I learned? Except that I don't do anything right, that I don't have to do anything but breathe to start a fight and saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, for nothing is the only way to avoid a torrential downpour of punches. Sometimes. She used to be scared to be home alone. Now she was just scared to be home. She made up her mind. She made up a plan. She said, my life is more important than my life with this man, and she escaped, and now she's safe, alone and healing, enjoying the feeling of loving herself. But she has not forgotten, and she will not forget, that before and after each act of terror, he said, I love you. I love you. This is for those who've heard that and who understand that he was lying. This is for those who want to get out and are afraid they may die trying. Let someone help you. Let someone trust someone somewhere to help you. Thank you. I'm going to switch gears considerably too, because that's very heavy. If there's food in your fridge older than your relationship, it might not be that serious. I'm just saying. People are playing with this word love and have no idea what it actually means. It's often talked about, but it is seldom seen. Love does not hurt. It is our failure to address it, our desire to suppress it, and all the other ways that we just in general mess with it that hurt. Our relationship to love is like pornographies to sex, excursions into perversions that take us farther and farther away from what could actually be because we never actually see it in action. So we accept artificial, manufactured satisfaction and say that this is normal. This is not normal. There is nothing normal about love. An ordinary heart on love is an 8 gig iPod being charged by lightning. Love makes more love. Love feeds off of love. Love gets high on love. Love is Shakespeare on Alice Walker on Chaucer. Love is Dizzy on Miles on Coltrane. Love is ice cream on grilled cheese on chocolate. Love is that kind of high. So if that's not what we're feeling, maybe that's not what we need to be saying. So even if there isn't food in your fridge older than your relationship, you might want to go home and check on it just to make sure you're not playing. But I'm just saying. Thank you. I have one more. Generations. My grandmother's grandmother's grandmother was likely a slave. There are days that I wake up not thinking about that, but today is not one of those days. Today I feel ill at ease in this brown skin, so often the sole cause of suffering to people I would recognize as family. Today I feel weighed down by the guilt of the suburban comfortable, the ease of the free, because I've never known anything else. My grandmother's grandmother likely never went to school. There are days when my master's degree obscures the relevance of that in my own life, but today is not one of those days. Today I feel small in comparison to those who haven't lived in their head all the time. Street smarts being real smarts because they keep you alive. Today I feel stressed out by my own level of stress, fully fabricated by me alone, uncontainable in my BlackBerry, forgotten messages that I can read, but don't. My grandmother is amazing. There are days that I let go by without telling her that, but today is not one of those days. Today I looked at the twinkle in her eye and the curve of her cheek, and I wondered if I could have carried that woman's burden, her grandmother's burden, her grandmother's grandmother's burden on these narrow, comfortable, well-educated shoulders. Could I? Could I have carried her stolen body, her sold son, her whipped back, her yes massa, her migrant husband, her broken family, her white only? Could I? Something in the way she looked back at me assured me that I could, because somewhere in me I am made of what they were made of. I am a woman, and I do what needs to be done, and I will think about that always. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Miss Dina. I'm grounded in gratitude. Thank you very much. Up next, we have a very special treat in Heather Haley. Heather is a multidisciplinary trailblazer, poet, author, musician, and media artist. She pushes boundaries by creatively integrating disciplines, genres, and media. She's published in numerous journals and anthologies, is the author of poetry collections, 3 Blocks West of Wonderland and Sideways. I believe they're in the back. Architect of the Edgewise Electrolit Center and the Vancouver Video Poem Festival, starting in 1993. The Edgewise facilitated telepoetics, link-ups, and online poetry workshop, and one of Canada's first electronic literary magazines, the Edgewise Café. Heather is an accomplished performer, having shared her poetry and music with audiences around the world. Most recently, she toured Eastern Canada and the US in support of her Oral Heather CD of spoken word songs, Princess Nut. Please put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Miss Heather Haley.
All right, thanks. Now, this is my church. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for being here. All right. This is called How to Remain. How to remain thin. Abstain. Abstain from eating food. Calories kill. The fat rats first. If she could say no and balance Belgian truffles on her tongue briefly before spitting them out, she might remain, live long, enjoy fruition. By shunning urges, she could linger, dainty as a colt's foot, deploying her charms raw. Dog trotting a straddled chocolate Arabian through mazes of lane. She could retire to her body. Alas, ankles thicken, braids recede. The old mare conjured whenever she dared to look. Fight back. She may be forced to cover the gray, yellow, but refuses to swallow diet pills. Amphetamines in the olden days. Dinner in the garbage rouses niggles of guilt, however. She snuffles it out before Buddy can, barfing rather than blowing calories on fusty pizza or molding olive oil soft arugula. Thank you. My water. Like a lot of Canadians, I spent time as an expatriate living in the U.S., working and living there. Hence the references to the US. This is called Window Seat. Heroic as a high school graduate, slight part of the payload, matrimonial assets stowed in a K-Rock knapsack, she returns, tailwind between her legs. Mercy Flight number 1106, United Airlines, non-stop, Los Angeles to Vancouver. Like I can save anyone? 6 years spent spiraling, 10 gagging on a microphone. She feels scatty, unbound, despite buckling up as instructed. Ah, there's the Paramount lot. Province of America's sweetheart, Mary Pickford. Toronto's Gladys Louise Smith. Only a Canadian would care. Spies her old apartment on Virginia Avenue, 7 blocks from the studio, 2 from Hollywood Cemetery. How many maidens, young ladies, and starlets before her? She'd visit Valentino, Fay Ray, Alfalfa, perched on a silent granite bench beneath a black awning of olive tree branches, to read or write home. If only she had a stage mother, someone to push, someone to wait in the wings, guide her away from flaccid A&R reps, priapic coke dealer record producers. Fingers pricked, she finds a pink guitar pick, thumbtacks, enough cash for a cocktail, hails a tan, smiley-faced flight attendant. I'm sorry, we're out of champagne. Like I have anything to celebrate. She recalls Toxic Lori Kosevich and a replacement song, Waitress in the Sky. How she craved Lori's rank, festered in envy of her best friend, Glenda, fat, single, welfare mom. A real dad for her little man. All Glenda wanted. Lori, a career, to be a stewardess. The laid landing pisses her right off, as does the bloody rain, lame-assed radio. But carry-on facilitates escape from baggage carousels, going around more circles, until middle sister's curlicues, roast beef dinner. Take your shoes off, please. Here, eat. Go sit with Mum. Her right hand comes off tomorrow. You'd better be there. Thank you. This is the title poem. It's called $3 West of Wonderland. The murders mattered only because they went down in my sweet pea with a bent stem friend Daisy's neighborhood. We could be sisters, sharing origins in La Belle province, obscure origins. I foisted, Daisy adopted, blossoming into a blonde Jewish princess, a beguiling kook, fatal Brooklynese accent. 2 transplants to Los Angeles. I dipped in Silver Lake, solo act. Daisy regal atop Lookout Mountain Avenue. 3 blocks west of Wonderland. Aspiring director boy toy in tow. No gun clubs on their map of L.A. Leary elkhounds patrolled the property. Litter box kitties safe from coyotes, rabid coons. One morning, LAPD prodded creeping sage ground cover. Rats? No. We're searching for body parts. Clues. Wonderland, the movie based on a true story. Val Kilmer, still too hunky to play geeky John Holmes. Decidedly Joe Blow as appearances go. Might explain his appeal, though. Every man identified, despite their grotesque cock. Coppola wannabe split. Mattress and pillow a prairie of down. Daisy bought a Colt 45 to dream on. Statistics, shemistics. She had a plan to scare off intruders, to shoot up into the rafters where the petrified red rosebuds hung. Thank you. This is for all these remarkable wild women I'm honored to be included with today. It's called Poetess. Gin Limber, she lies on her tummy, contorting sentences under the lava lamp. No room in the final note for a litany, no space for a nervous breakdown. Corner painted, mother bashed, apron strung, quirks cosseted, she conspires like a murderess to pull a Plath, to stick her head in the oven, not another bun, not another word. Let the loud print dress do all the talking. Thank you. Here's a nice place poem, home poem. It's called Appleton. Hookah squats on carpet, Buddha-esque. Undulating spirals of sapphire smoke hula up her nose. That buzz that slows your blood, calls you back to bed like a lover, soothes your inner asshole. High-resolution satellite images, narcs warrant executed Tuesday, grow op rated Wednesday. Dozens of firearms, 5,000 plants. Big bus for a small town, says Constable Cook, for export for sure. Cultivation facilities dismantled. Straight people relieved. Green Party over. But Zoe cried. It was the best job ever. Dope dealers pay well. Her boyfriend sold product at school. Their responsibilities included digging a tunnel under the border, blaming black fingernails and muddy jeans on dirt biking at the gravel pit. Parents were shocked. We thought she was on Facebook, chatting. We thought he was on the internet with her. Boy's father chiding, it's Appleton, son, not Marijuanaton. There you go, thanks. BC's #1 cash crop. That's what I hear. Excuse me. All right. Yeah, it's a bit early to be doing this one. But oh well. There's a whore in the eddy, gazing up at ballooning clouds as if imagining frogs, giraffes, corvettes and barns, as if Neptune's head has heard her pleas and sent me. She looks like a mannequin, as if by law of nature, a stripped woman's body looks like a mannequin after it floats to the surface in a rainforest denuded by steam donkeys and timber sails. All matter from the depths is netted by log jams. She stares at me, cannot see. The pebbles embedded in my knees, or my face, not so sweet. No bubbles, just the stillness of standing water. No trace DNA no hard-earned cash, only cool airstreams of aspen leaves. My grasping hand takes hers, skin gliding onto my fingers like a glove. A device we share features. Any porno-masticating, regular working stiff Joe wants in his garage between the red pickup and the Crestliner. We watched the rim of night, a coiled arm of stars. Their slow light. 2 million years too late. Naked eyes decipher Orion the hunter, Cassiopeia, bright knots of the double cluster. Mars appears. I look the other way to the North Star. Thank you.
Amazing poetess, songstress, Heather Haley. One more round of applause. It's amazing. We are reaching our intermission. Before I let you go, I will ask you once again to acknowledge the artists that we've had on stage so far today who invite us to, I would say, take a look at our underbelly, be a little bit vulnerable, and celebrate everything that life has to offer. So many, many thanks to the beautiful women who've been up on stage. Now, go ahead and have a drink, have a bite to eat, take a bio break, tweet, open up your Blackberries, you know you're itching to do it, and we'll see you back here shortly.